Hello everyone, today we're going to learn how to draft a collar with a stand. This type of collar has two parts, the stand, which fits around the neck, and the fall, which folds over and gives the collar its shape. This is the way how to draft. Are you wondering why the tutorial seemed so quick and jumped straight to the finished pattern? We'll go through the drafting process step by step in a moment. But don't you want to know why each line and number matters, not just how to copy them? I showed the finished pattern first to give you the big picture. Now I'll explain how this drafting formula was developed and why each step is necessary. Let's start. I've cut it this long to a certain height because we're going to draft the collar with stand pattern, so this part here will be the stand. If you place it along the side of the neck like this, you can get a rough idea of how it will wrap around the neck. Please watch what I'm demonstrating. You don't need to do this yourself right now. Once you see it, you'll understand the concept behind collar drafting much more clearly. I've adjusted the center back. For a shirt, we usually drop the side neck point and the center front neck point just a little from the exact measurement. Do you know why? It's to give the neck some ease so it doesn't feel tight or choking. For this classic shirt style, I'll lower both points by about half an inch. Now take a look at the stand I'm holding. Imagine this is the neckline on a body. If I place the bottom of this rectangle directly on the neckline, what do you notice about the top of the stand? Right, it sticks out quite far from the neck, but watch what happens if I tilt the bottom slightly. See? The angle changes and the stand sits much closer to the body. Can you see how that works? So I've decided to shape the collar so it tilts closer to the neck. Next, we need to mark the neckline. Remember how we said we'd drop the center front by half an inch and the side neck point by half an inch from the actual body point? The center back neck point will stay as it is. Now, from the new center neck point to the new side neck point, we'll project the neckline naturally onto the stand paper. Look here, see how the new neckline smoothly merges with the original paper at the side neck point? So from the side neck point to the center back, it looks fine to keep it straight, following the shape of the paper. Can you see how that works? Now remember, these are important landmarks, so be sure to mark them clearly, the center front and the side neck points. This will help us keep everything accurate as we shape the collar. Now I'm going to design one more using the same method. Depending on how much I tilt the stand, the end of the stand, that is, the collar, will sit either closer to or farther away from the body. This time, I am not going to make the collar sit too close to the neck like before. Instead, I will find a nice, slightly relaxed collar angle. Remember to project and mark the new neckline using the side neck point and center front, each dropped by half an inch, and don't forget to mark your center front line and side neck point, and of course, we always start by matching it from the center back point we marked from the beginning. Take a look at these two rectangles. They're both collar stands, but with different tilt angles. The top one is the first design, it tilts close to the neck. The bottom one is the one we just marked, it stands with a bit more ease, not too tight around the neck. Alright, now I'll use a ruler to refine the lines I drew by hand. This will make them smoother and more precise. Now let's take a look at how high each of these two collar stands rises from the horizontal baseline. They have different slopes, right? So make sure you record those height measurements clearly. The lower curved line here will become our neckline, so we're going to cut along that line next. And when you draft the center front, don't forget always square up from the baseline. That's really important for accuracy. Do you see how the two heights are clearly different? Alright, from now on, we're going to start drafting the collar pattern. But before we jump into the actual drafting, we need to check one important thing: the neckline measurement. Remember? I mentioned earlier on the dress form that I dropped it by 1/2 inch. Now I'll show you how to apply that on the pattern. First, trace the neckline area from your front basic block. Then drop both the side neck point and the center front neck point by 1/2 inch. After that, redraw the neckline smoothly. Next, we'll measure that new neckline length. I like to use my curve ruler because it has measurements marked on it. It makes it easier to measure along the curved line. But if you don't have one, that's fine. Just use your measuring tape and follow the curve carefully. Now, do the same for the back neck as well. Measure the front neck and back neck separately and make sure you write down both measurements clearly. If you don't have a front basic block yet, don't worry, you can use my measurements. The front neckline F is 5 1/4 inches and the back neckline B is 3 3/4 inches. Now that you've written down your neckline measurements, we're ready to start drafting the pattern on a fresh sheet of paper. A sheet that's about 13 by 13 inches will be enough for this. Alright, let's get started. First, draw a horizontal guideline about 2 inches up from the bottom of your paper. Then draw a vertical guideline about 2 inches in from the left edge. These will serve as your reference lines for the pattern. Starting from the left bottom corner along the horizontal guideline, mark a point that equals your back neckline measurement. That point marks the end of the back neckline and is also our side neck point. From there, continue along the horizontal line and mark the front neckline measurement. This sets the correct width for both the back and front neckline on your pattern. Next, we're going to draft the collar stand height, but only for the back neckline at this stage. We'll use 1 1/4 inches, which is a common height for a shirt collar stand. Now, you might be wondering about the extra pieces attached to the stand I brought. I'll explain those shortly, so don't worry about them for now. Now we're going to draft the collar pattern that has the steeper slope toward the neck, just like you see here. As we measure it, it rises 1 1/2 inches from the horizontal baseline. Where exactly do we mark this? At the point where your front neckline measurement ends. From that point, square up from the baseline and mark the 1 1/2 inch height. Next, take your French curve ruler and draw a smooth curve from the point that's 1 1/2 inches up to the side neck point. At the side neck point, remember the back neckline is a horizontal line, so find the best angle on your French curve that naturally connects into that horizontal direction and draw the curve smoothly. Then, from the center front point, extend that same line forward as a continuation. Just follow the same angle so the line flows naturally. Wait a moment, now that I'm drawing this line, I just realized I missed something. But let me first mark the 1 1/4 inch height along the curved neckline, and then I'll explain what I did wrong. What I missed was this: I should have checked exactly where the center front point was along our curved neckline, comparing it with the front neckline measurement before squaring up. But I forgot and just squared up right away. So now let's go back to my measurement. The front neckline was 5 1/4 inches. Use your curve ruler to double-check that length along the curved neckline and mark the correct point. This point you just marked is your new center front. Now pay close attention, this part is very important. From that point, draw the center front line straight up, making sure it's perpendicular to the curved neckline. Go up 1¼ inches, that's the height of the collar stand. Now use your French curve ruler to finish drawing the upper edge of the collar stand. Just connect it smoothly along the marks you made earlier. Now, one more thing to check at this stage. At the side neck point, the curve must naturally converge to the horizontal back neckline. Carefully examine and adjust the angle so the curve meets that horizontal direction smoothly. Also, here's an important tip. I line up the scale marks on my French curve with the center front and the side neck point. That helps me see exactly which part of the ruler I'm using and keeps the curve consistent. If your French curve doesn't have any scale marks, you can make small reference marks directly on the ruler with a pencil or tape before you draw. That way, you'll know exactly where to place it next time. Now I'm going to flip my French curve ruler. Place the ruler so it starts exactly at the center front point. Earlier, we marked where the curve should begin and where the side neck point is. From the center front, we'll transfer the curve's angle toward the side neck point, moving in reverse along the guideline we drew. This way, the curve maintains the correct slope all the way to the side neck point. Now for the back neck portion, the curve needs to merge smoothly into the horizontal line. Check the angle on your French curve and adjust it if needed. Remember, the length is already fixed. The curve starts at the center front and ends at the side neck point along the horizontal. Now, continue the line horizontally all the way from the side neck point to the center back. Make sure it stays perfectly horizontal so it aligns with the back neckline. So now these two lines, the one from the center front to the side neck point and the horizontal line from the side neck point to the center back, should have exactly the same angle and length as intended. They're meant to match perfectly. By now you might be expecting this. This is the familiar collar portion, but it's reversed here. We'll make the collar height slightly taller than the stand. Let's use 1½ inches for this part. The collar doesn't fall straight down from the center front, it's slightly angled outward. For now, we'll open it by about ½ inch. Next time, when you design, you can adjust this freely, but for now, follow the numbers I'm giving you. The collar edge is a bit too wide, so we'll reduce the width slightly. Adjust it by reflecting the angle of the neckline a little, but don't make the curve too sharp. Keep it smooth and gradual. Default text angle of the collar edge is up to you. You don't have to make it perfectly square here. Feel free to adjust it according to your design preference. Now we need to finish the collar stand. From the center front, extend the line by 1 inch, then square out a draft line. Use your French curve ruler to round off the corner smoothly. What is this part for? That's right, on a shirt we need a closure. This section usually connects to the placket and is where the button will go. In the middle of the stand, from the center line, we'll mark the buttonhole perpendicular to the line. If the button on the shirt is ½ inch in diameter, draw an extension of 1/8 inch on the stand side. The remaining 3/8 inch, which makes up the opening of the buttonhole, extends onto the front part of the collar. The last thing to do is indicate all the important identity locations: center back, side neck point, and center front.